Welcome everyone. I am Chaitra Bedalapalli. I'm the co-founder and president of Women in Cloud. Today we will be talking about the cloud jobs and the compensation one-on-one. This is the first of the series that Marissa on my team has pulled together to make this one as a monthly series so we can talk about the topics that you need answers to. So we will definitely address some of it, but we will have every month, there will be topics around really getting ready so you actually can achieve your six-figure salaries in the tech industry, okay? We do have a few more things that's coming up. Expectations of an entry-level cloud engineering position. What are the chances for a beginner in today's tech world? If I get certified in AZ 900, can I apply for a cloud job? What are the role I will be working on? I think I'll address most of the questions today on that one that is here. Okay, going to the next slide. A little bit about me. I've been in the corporate industry for 18 years till I started being an entrepreneur. I work in the huge tech ecosystem, really to ensure my expertise is really helping kind of build the communities. But the way I see myself as an engineer, I know how to build a product, but how to really do co-selling with hyperscalers and really be represented in the community as a go-to-market expert. I've worked with a lot of companies. We talk about a lot about talent access. We talk about talent readiness, and we spend a lot of time in the Women in Cloud to make that possible. So a little bit about Women in Cloud for people who don't know about who we are. We are a community-led and economic development organization with a huge audacious goal to create $1 billion in net new economic access for women founders and professionals by 2030 through the partnership with corporations, community leaders, and policymakers. The three areas that we focus on every day, every moment is the workforce development, making sure that women are getting ready in for the tech, which is the cloud and AI and Web 3.0 opportunities. So we want to make sure you have everything that's needed for you to go into those roles. And not just the roles, a fulfilling roles. That's the key. The second one is also focusing on leadership development. How do you lead? What does it take to lead? And we focus a lot on the digital ESG strategies so that women can actually lead the ESG work. And ESG stands for environmental, social, and governance work in the corporate ecosystem. The second one is economic development, work with a lot of the founders to make sure they have access to talent, access to investment, access to hyperscaler partnerships so they can really build a very successful company in the Fortune enterprise ecosystem. And the last one is the policy advancement. We are focusing a lot on the digital data privacy work and making sure that our rights are maintained. We are not losing our freedom. It's secure. The data is taken care of well. So a lot of work is happening. So if you're thinking about any one of the areas, there is opportunity for all of you to work on. Okay. So my first question for you here, when it comes to six-figure cloud jobs, what are companies expecting from employees? Go ahead and write down that answer for me. When it comes to six-figure cloud jobs, what are companies expecting from employees? Because you probably have the answer here. Skill set, experience, Lena, fantastic. What else? Coding, excellent. For the tech people, yes. Cloud certification, very good. What else? Solutions to problem, leadership. Look at that. You actually have the answers. That's exactly what employees are looking for, that you can find solutions to the problem. Innovation, absolutely. Innovation can be at the tech level, innovation can be at the content level, and innovation can be at the marketing level. Any part, innovation is required because the more employees are coming to the table, or any candidate coming to the table with innovation, solving problems, they definitely have the attention. Commitment, yes. Right now, every company is looking for strong commitment from people because there is a trend that there's a disengagement happening at a record pace. So they're looking for team members and employees who are committed and they can innovate with them to solve the global problem. Okay. So based on your responses as you registered, here are the things that most of you asked for. So is this what you're here to learn? And I want you to say yes in the chat. What is the cloud job landscape? Landing and sustaining a six-figure cloud job, compensation and negotiation. How do I transition to tech? How do I pivot to the tech roles or a non-tech roles? Networking for career growth. If this is the place, this is the topic you want to hear, then you're in the right place. If you're not, you really have to say, go back and grab a cup of coffee and have time. But if this is the one, put in yes for you. Excellent. Let me tell you what's happening in the world around us right now. The world has changed significantly around us. So first is the access to tech has become very easy. Like the price point to buy a drone has dropped from $100,000 to $700. And I think by this Christmas, you will see it's probably at $50 you can buy a small drone and you can really play with it. The 3D printing cost has gone down. I remember, wanted to buy a 3D printer 10 years ago. It was around $10,000, but now you can buy it $100. Industrial robot pricing is changing. The DNA sequence is becoming cheaper. And then if you look at the solar, that is also going down. So that is where the technology is changing, and it's also becoming very accessible for you to really do some amazing innovation. So that means, what does that look like? There's a huge amount of data that's coming into the ecosystem, and all this data is sitting on a infrastructure, which is a cloud infrastructure. And there's a zettabyte or equals to 1 billion terabytes of data sitting in the servers on a regular basis, right? So what does that mean? The most of the computing which used to sit in the data centers, if you remember the mainframes, it used to sit in the data centers. Everything is going into very much cloud infrastructure, which is run by Microsoft, Google, IBM, Salesforce, and AWS. They are the one that are providing the new infrastructure, and that is where the computing is happening, which is in these data centers. So what we are predicting, or the market is predicting, 60% of the computing in the public cloud will happen by 2025. But with COVID and with the current market, we're probably at 80% of the computing will happen. So we are also seeing a lot of the IoT devices. This is Internet of Things, from your watches to your ring, to your phone, to everything in your house. It's all getting connected to the cloud. If you look back, if you have some friends or even you can see that even your door ring is activated through the Ring device, and it's connected to your phone. So you can be in different part of the country, you'll know exactly who came to your house because it's taking camera shots, right? So, or a little videos to say somebody is around your house. And if there is a theft going on, you can call the cops right from that phone. So you can send a signal immediately. So those kind of innovations are happening. Then you look at the cyber threats, that is also scaling on a scale that we have not ever seen. The cyber crime is a real thing, and you will see a lot of those crimes becoming more and more. And so that means there's opportunity for people. So data breaches are happening. There's a lot of shadow IT getting consolidated into making applications that work in the cloud infrastructure. So that's kind of just how the world is changing. So I want you all of to know. So every time you look around and see what is a thing that you have that is sending signal into the cloud, and very simple is your apps on your phone that is all run on the cloud infrastructure. And then go look around your environment at home, at work, even at the coffee place. Look at and see what are all the places the data is getting collected. You'll be very mesmerized. It's all run on the cloud infrastructure. So now who is actually powering this infrastructure right now? So there are three primary infrastructure. Going to the next slide. is Microsoft, which is their infrastructure. Everything is happening on their infrastructure. Then Google Cloud is the another one, and then AWS infrastructure, AWS Cloud. Those are the three mega infrastructures that is predominant in the industry. But there are also Ali Cloud and Salesforce Cloud, and then IBM Cloud. There are multiple clouds underneath that, but this is the three dominant infrastructures that will be available. And there's constantly customers are moving between Microsoft to Google, Google to Microsoft, and AWS. So you'll see a lot of that happening. Is that helpful for you? Say yes if you understood how the world is operating right now. Yes, fantastic. Okay, so then what is changing in the cloud job landscape? Very simple. This is the first time in the history that 10% of all the jobs is cloud jobs. And then 40%, there was a growth in the cloud jobs starting in 2020. Why? Because COVID hit and everything went to cloud. So that has happened. And then there are 44% are intermediate jobs, not the leadership, not the entry, but this is the main job ecosystem. So when you think about how the growth is happening, and you can go to monster.com, this is from the last year. If you look at, there's a significant growth in the entry-level jobs, which is 0 to 3 years. So that has increased from 24% to 29%. Yep. And then if you look at the intermediate level, if you look at it, that is also increasing, right? That has changed. Then you look at the mid-senior level, that number is changing. See, and then top management is the same. So that's not changing. But a lot of the intermediate jobs in the cloud is also changing. So that's a pretty significant landscape. And we are at 10%. We are estimating that in another 5 to 10 years, this one will be 30% of the jobs will be cloud powered. Everyone needs to know cloud. Okay. I'll talk about that, Michelle, is layoffs are happening, but how do you protect yourself from that one? Is that good? Okay, going to the next slide. So now that you have it, what is the type of jobs that is actually growing year after year? First is the data engineer. Anyone who knows how to manage the data. Managing the data means you can look at data in an Excel spreadsheet and make it look really good to consume and make decisions. So that's very important. A data engineer can look at all the pieces of this data, put it together in a way that you can make sense of it, because it's zettabytes of content that's coming in. A normal human brain cannot process it. A data engineer can come up with strategies and frameworks to help that. The backend developer of any apps, there's a huge need for it. Data scientist, somebody who can look at the data and make sense of it. That's another one. Or create what kind of data we need to collect. A CRM developer, this is really workflow, all about customer acquisition, lead generation, demand generation. That's a huge one. The UI developer, that's the one, someone who creates the application, the front end of it, how it should look like, how should the buttons, where the buttons needs to be, what color treatment we need to put in, how does the flow work for the user? That's a huge opportunity. Python, Android, and those are the two technology, the code one. DevOps engineer, that's a huge one. Right now, the DevOps is becoming DevSecOps. So developer, security, and operation all coming together. That's a huge evolution of impact. A front-end developer, somebody who can look at the UI and develop the code. And a cloud architect, someone who can architect applications. So these are like the fastest growing tech occupations right now. And out of all this one, what is your interest that you want to learn more of it? Go ahead and put it in the chat. If you look at all this one, take a look at it. I want to see how many of you are like gravitating to the tech job, because I'll also talk about what the non-tech jobs are for people who are interested. Data engineering, DevSecOps, fantastic. What else? Data scientist and cloud architect in tech, great. Security, there you go. There you go. See, look at it. That is fantastic. So we'll talk more about it as we go through it. Now, coming to the question For you, what is the biggest challenge in securing a cloud job today for you? Put in the chat, what's the biggest challenge in securing a cloud job? I'm just trying to pass my AZ 900 right now. Entry level, skills gap, right now it's me. Keep going. What else is the biggest challenge? Experience, good. Going to the next slide, there are 5 core reasons why people are having difficulty right now. First, I don't know where to start. So if you're in a different industry, you have no idea. Even if you're in the tech industry, you don't know, how do I start with cloud? Second, I don't have cloud skills. And I think most of the people don't know what is cloud skills and how do I need to gain that. I don't have a network. Most of the people who are not able to find a job, they really don't have the network. And that's the one. Second is getting interviews, but no offers. And then lack of presence and confidence. Do you all agree with this one? Say yes in the chat. These are like the top 5 reasons why people are not able to find a tech job. Excellent. So here are 3 principles of how you can secure the job. Any job, but cloud job. First is it has to be referred or you have to be noticed. So refer means somebody in your network is referring you to the hiring person in your network, in their network. Very important, because the AI tools will not get you in. And if you're writing something on their job board, and I'll show you how you need to write also, that's very important. But you have to be referred and you have to be noticed. Notice means you're volunteering in a community where you're noticed. You're doing something for somebody, so you're getting noticed. Very important principle. Second is skilled individual and strong presence. The person who can organize, who can collaborate with each other, they can communicate and get things done with impact. Not just get things done, but with impact, positive impact. That's the person who will get the job anytime, whether it's cloud or non-cloud, it doesn't matter. It's a skilled individual is what a company is looking for. The third one is contribution factor. Your contribution factor must focus on what you can bring to the table instead of what you want. Most of the interviews I am in, most of the people say what they want, but they never talk about why should I give you a job when you're not even contributing. You're creating more noise, more frustration, and more pain for the employer. You will not get it. The contribution happens in revenue. Contribution happens in saving. Contribution happens to get things done faster and quicker. Contribution factor happens coming up with innovation. That's a contribution factor. And if you have those 3, that's when you will find the job. If you don't, then you need to start looking at, say, what am I missing? So looking at the 3 principles, where do you think you need the most help today as an individual to find that job? Put it in there. Contribution also needs to be considered as part of the equal pay. That is still a problem. Absolutely, Amber. We'll talk about that one too. Network, technical skills, contribution factor. Keep going. Visibility. Yes, see, you already know where the gaps are. So when I go through the experience, we can talk more. So here are some examples. These are the things that people have sent me that they are interested for getting a job at Women in Cloud, right? So they will just say, I'm looking for a company full of passionate people with a common goal of helping their clients. I want to be an integral part of the team and assisting in achieving your goals. Not clear, no clarity, don't know what it is. They want, it's an aspiration thing, but it's not there. Second one is I'm very passionate about the industry. I've been involved in event operation over 25 years. What does that mean? Doesn't matter. There's no impact. You cannot really tell me how you're going to add value. There's no contribution factor other than you're passionate about something, but it's not very clear. The third one was like a killer. Like, I think you meant to ask, they are trying to fix the grammar. They're trying to tell me is like, I need to prove to them why they should be getting a job. So come and talk to me. Don't do that. They were rejected in the first round of when people were applying for jobs. Don't do that one, because once you do that, you usually have lost your attention and that person will be tagged in the network saying that do not do it. Red alerts, not a good individual to work on. So that is something for you to be aware of. Going to the second one, Invited to the first round of interviews. Look at the language. One of my favorite things about freelancing is the positive impact I make on my client's life. Already you're talking the language that the employer or a company who wants to hire you is there. Whether it's helping a small business get a website together or illustrating a promotional material, it's for us. So it's very clear. Second one is I'm able to launch the LLCs with capabilities and confidence. And I can provide really good, excellent oral and written communication. The third one is talked about the superpowers that I can bring interpersonal skills and organization. This is what got them into the first round of interviews. Now let's go to the third example. Next slide, please. So this is the person, they said 8 years of experience supporting CEOs, bilingual, have an extensive experience in administration and marketing tasks, efficient and independent worker, helps enjoying busy people's life to get things done so they can focus on their core business. During the interview, they focused on the contribution factor, spoke about the impact, time saving, type of the work they deliver, can save 25 hours per week by taking off the workload, focused on workflow automation, scheduling, creating SOPs, clearly communicating the what role they're perfect in. Offer was negotiated and they were hired in 20 minutes. That is where the kind of language I want you to think about when you're applying for a job. Was that helpful for you? Just knowing how the hiring process happened. Behind the scene is the language and how you show up with your skills, your contribution factor, and how you show up into the conversation. Okay, coming to the next one. What are the job options in the cloud? Absolutely, Katrina, you do need to have the metrics of your impact. If you don't see it, then you really don't know what exactly you're doing wrong. And there are tools and technologies to help you craft really good messaging. And I can do, maybe if I have time, I'll spend more time in showing that example. So when you're thinking about any cloud opportunities, there are 4 areas that govern what is called as a cloud solution. A solution is like a tech, like Office 365 is a solution, or a smart sheet is a solution. It's usually a company has solution. Microsoft has many, but other companies usually have 1, 2, 3. So there's everything is around a cloud solution. So the first piece of the cloud solution is the engineering piece, which is the architecture, which is where they're creating the IP. Very important. The second one is the product management, how this solution will be used by the customer. And they're writing all the requirement. They have the tech background, but they also understand marketing, operations. They know how to work with partners. They know how to work with sales. So this product manager is really defining the specs of the cloud solution. The third one is the operations. The operation is sales operation, marketing operation, product quality operation, whatever the operation to get that product in front of the customer is the third pillar. And the fourth pillar is sales and marketing pillar. This is where, how do you get the customer? How do you help them adopt this solution? How do you teach them how to use it? All these things come in. So when you look at this particular framework, which one are you gravitate to? Put it in the chat for me. Each one here, you will say, you know what, I actually like product management. This is where I can add value. I can add my contribution factor. So Leah says engineering, Katrina says architecture. So that means you will be more in the tech kind of roles. If you are be in that type of role, you don't have to know coding, but you can still do the work. See, look at it. Already you are able to identify what type of roles you can get in, and we'll talk more about that. Okay. So now coming to the engineering pieces. Here is how the top faces of the cloud looks like. They usually are called as cloud architect, cloud software engineer, and then we have is the cloud sales and account executive. That's on the fourth corner. The cloud engineer, who is actually writing the code. Then you have the service developer, who's again in the operational side of it. Then you have cloud analyst in the product management side of it. You have cloud network engineering on the engineering side of it. Cloud system administrator in the engineering. Then you have cloud systems engineer in the engineering. And then you have the cloud product manager. These are all the top 10 job roles in cloud. So when you look at it, which one of the cloud job gravitates to you? Go put it in the chat for me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just tell me which one it is. Cloud sales. There you go. 1. Cloud architect. Cloud analyst. Look at it, how easily you're able to spot your role already looking at the roles now. Isn't that cool? That you get to say, oh, I can go. So if you have worked in the tech, if you, let's say you were a database architect, you just need to figure out is how do I go and learn about the basic cloud skills so that you're relevant as a cloud database expert. So that means you go into being a cloud engineer and you start to learn about it. Fantastic. Now tell me, out of all these jobs, which one are six-figure jobs? Of all these jobs, which are the six-figure jobs? All of them. That is the right answer. All of these jobs will get you to six-figure and more. Which one gets you over $200,000 per year? Which job is that? There's one job in there that gets you to $200,000 or more per year, whether you're a freelancer or whether you are an employee. Cloud sales, number 10. Not really, it's the cloud architect. They are the number one role that if you can architect a solution, you know how to stitch all the pieces, you know how to work with the product manager and the sales, you are like on the top of the top of the top pyramid. So make sure that you know how do you how you gradually go and become a cloud architect. That is the number one role that gets you more than 200,000 or more in salary. Okay, is that helpful for all of you? Say yes in the chat. Yes, it is recorded, Jignesh. Excellent. Going to the next slide. So when you think about the cloud, as we talked about, think about the role from code to customer success. So code development to the customer success. That means engineering to someone who's selling the product. At the end of the day, all these roles are actually getting there. So there are a lot of non-tech jobs. You don't really need to code. You have sales and marketing, you have government relationship, governance and PEO, BI analytics, operation, product management, marketplace opportunity. That's a new role that just started to pop as of last 2 years. And that's becoming like a number one role, which is a non-tech job. So you should consider looking into linguistics. And there are a lot of other jobs which are there. And then the tech jobs are automation, security, network, developer, architect, DevOps. So what it means is this industry, which is a $7 trillion industry, has access for everyone to participate in this journey, okay? So then when you think about it, what is a tech manager really looking for in an employee when they are trying to hire? Now that there's so many jobs, you can fit into any one of them. What does the tech leaders are looking for? Going to the next slide. So what they are looking for, any job that you're taking in the tech, they want to make sure you're proficient in cloud fundamentals and or certified in cloud. This is a very simple analogy. If you have to cook, you need to know how to cut the vegetable. You know how to mix the spices. The same thing. You need to have the cloud fundamentals, because cloud is all about services. It's not about a code you can just go deploy. It's very much services. You need to know how to use those services to create a solution together. You have to be proficient in your fundamentals. So when you're sitting in front of a customer or even sitting in front of an engineer, you should be able to have a decent conversation. That's an important thing. Second, they're really looking for a skilled individual who can communicate, who is resourceful. Resourceful came number one in every tech company. They say, can't they just get things done? Or they'll come to you and say, I don't know how to do it. But the first question or the first answer, the man, have you gone and checked on Google? Have you done on YouTube? So you should be resourceful. If you're coming for everything, that means you're not a resourceful, and not being resourceful, you probably, your performance review goes down significantly. or even getting hired becomes really bad. Like they don't want to hire someone who's not resourceful. So you need to be very resourceful there. Creative, they're thinking out of the box. They're coming up with options. They're coming up with ideas. Impact focus, they're focusing on the company's goals and impact. Second is connectors. They're connecting not only within the company, but outside the company. They're going into the community and connecting. They're trustworthy. They know how to build trust within the company and outside, and they want to learn and grow. That is what a skilled individual in the definition looks like. And that is something that every company is looking for. They have experience in some tech project, like they have worked on something. It can be as simple as taking a manual Excel spreadsheet and coming up with a dashboard. You have done that. You know what it takes to really talk a tech project, or you have done some internship. So doing and talking that language is so important for a company to hire. Recommendations are coming from their network. Very important. No recommendations, you probably are not going to be on the top of the pile. Second is contribution factor, judged by the language and what you bring to the table. Very important. Your language has to be how you have contributed in others' life or other company, and why you can be a strong value add for the organization, and how fast can they onboard you. If the onboarding you will take you 3 months for you to be productive, you probably will not be hired. You want to be productive within the first week. That means you will be able to do whatever the first deliverable, you can start doing it instead of waiting for an onboarding guide and telling somebody sitting down and going through all the processes. They're looking for resourcefulness so you can be productive from the day one they are hired. So that's a very critical piece, which is a contribution factor. That's what they're looking for. Okay. Is that helpful for all of you, what the tech companies are looking for? Say yes in the chat for me, so I know that you're listening. Going to the next slide, this is what I would say a very good summary of a hiring manager. When you really look at all the things that they're looking for, but they also are looking for you. If you want a job, don't be afraid to show the passion and interest in your response when you're having a conversation. What about this company and its current projects that interest you the most? The hiring manager needs to know the view about the job as a unique opportunity, not just the paycheck. Most of the people who come in they're talking about the money, but not what the contribution looks like on both the side. And remember, no two jobs are the same, and you will always need to approach each new opportunity with a fresh mindset. This was the best insight that a hiring manager provided, and I wanted all of you to know is they are very flexible. They're looking to grow you. They want to develop you. So if you just come there for a paycheck, it's not going to happen. That's not something they're interested to help you with that. Okay. Okay, now coming to the compensation and negotiation. Now, before I go in here, was this helpful for you to know what opportunities are there, how much vast the opportunity is, and you can find your place to really get into the tech? If you have that answer, then we can go into the compensation. Yes? Any questions here before we go into compensation? Okay, let's go to the next one, and I'll open up the Q&A for all of you. So now when you think about the compensation piece, this is like one of my favorite topics. I love everybody to have really a good equitable opportunities and how you go through the role so you can develop, so you can become that individual who makes $1 million if you can in your job, or whether you're building a business. So here is something which is the actual mean of all the jobs that you see in the computer science, and it's by thebusiness.org. If you think about it, minimum is like 57,000, and if you go up to the chain is 123. This is a salary. This is just your paycheck. But I want to talk about what are the pieces that come into the tech that you need to know about. So going to the next one, how the compensation, instead of just talking about your paycheck, I want you to change your language to your compensation. What is the total compensation? What's your compensation equity going to look like? So you're talking about your salary, That means every month what you get paid. What is the stock option? Tech is very much into stock option. Yes, you may say maybe the stocks are not looking good. So what? But no, you need to own the company, a share of the company, very important. If you have 1,000 stocks, that means you have a voice in the company. You are an investor now in the company. So that's very important. Vacation, are you going to get the vacation? Is there any disability insurance? All humans have some kind of a disability. You need to have something there. Life insurance, are they supporting that one? Health insurance, is there something there? And a retirement planning, are they helping you with that? You need to look at all the pieces. If you don't, you are just shortchanging in how you have a conversation with your employer, because the role can grow big. But if you're only stuck in the paycheck, that doesn't grow. It only grows 2 to 3%. Maybe in Asia, it may grow 8%, but in US is 1 to 3% salary in shift. But what you have is other things that you are going to navigate. So here is what a cloud engineer's salary looks like. So if you're at a starting level, it's at 55,000. But if you are at an average American salary, that's 53. It's still higher, little higher. But the median salary is 101,000, and the top 10% is 152,000. This person salary is based, the top 10%, that means they have a very strongest contribution factor, and that's what gets them really, really high. Yes, Rohit, it is lower in India, but this is, I'm showing it from a US perspective. If you go back to the Indian piece, it's probably somewhere around 80,000 for an entry level. And if you go to the top salary, it's around like 4 lakhs is what I'm looking at right now. Okay. That's why the more you start driving contribution factor, the more you can start to go towards the top 10% of the salary. Now, coming to the compensation structure. Now, how do you look at all the pieces? You have to explore all the piece when you're looking at the next job and you're going through each one of them. First is the salary itself. What's your salary package going to look like? What is the stock options that you're going to get? If you're not going to get something in a tech company, I would say you need to go talk about it. If you don't get it. So always negotiate some stock option. Benefits. Think about your healthcare, your insurance, your vacation, your training credits. This is very cool. When I took my job at Oracle, I had the lowest salary in the whole organization, but my training credits were over 250,000 for the year. And I went and took all the credits and all the certification I needed to understand what it takes. And you can negotiate on that. Travel, how you travel. Work from home, that's a new benefit. You want that. Work from home means they will give you the chair and the table, the computer, everything, the whole infrastructure, and relocation. So what are the relocation piece? Accelerators. Are you driving sales? Are you driving some innovation? If you're driving sales, you need to have a sales accelerator. If you're driving innovation, there has to be some bonus structure attached to the performance for innovation. Those are the 4 pieces you look at from a compensation structure if you're an employee of a company. If you are a freelancer, you need to think about all the pieces and say, what does your per hour value that you bring in that still gets to a very similar output? If you're not really driving that, then if you're not driving value, you're not going to get any kind of compensation that you're looking for. So think from that perspective. And it needs to achieve all the pieces. What's the difference between an accelerator and commission? So accelerators are, let's say if you have a deal, which is a $100,000 deal, you get an accelerator plus the commission. So accelerator may be 10,000 for closing this deal, and then commission is whatever the commission, that structure is. So usually it's John, there are 2 different languages for every company. So you need to go deeper if you're in a sales. So there's an accelerator model, and then there's sales. Commission is for all sales. Accelerator is for new products, new innovation that you're taking into the market. Usually our launch of a new product, there will be an accelerator for it. Okay. Was this helpful for you? Just knowing the compensation structure? Yes? Fantastic. Okay, So what are your negotiation techniques now? There are a few things. Do your research. You need to know your living costs, your average salary, and also explore what your competitors are paying. Do think long term. Don't go for 3 months. Oh, I'm going to work for 3 months and then I'm going to jump and then jump. You'll never achieve your goal. The people who think long term and they plan structurally, they are very successful. I do recognize the company's culture right now with the millennials coming in. Culture is very important. They want the companies to focus on purpose, passion, and then profit and planet, right? They care about that. So think about that one is go and read the mission statement, look at their press releases, look at how they're partnering with different companies. If a company is not partnering with a community, that's a red sign right there. That means you won't be able to really drive the change you're looking for. So you want companies who are partnering with local communities and global communities to create access to networks that you need. There is no network, that means they're not really helping you grow your ecosystem. You don't have to really answer the salary question directly. Think about having a compensation conversation instead of a salary conversation. Don't assume anything, always write it down, the details, it's important. You don't need a debate. The salary or the compensation is really a negotiation. You really need to know what is that, what are you valued at? If you don't know your value, you cannot go into a negotiation. Always have room and flexibility because there are 4 areas. You can negotiate on all the 4. Sometimes the salary may be smaller, but you have a great accelerator. If you have a very high contribution mindset, you should be going into the accelerator asking for more accelerators. If you are becoming a mom and you need work from home, then you need to take that option more than rather than like debating on the salary. Every company will have the salary band, which you can look at. There's always anywhere from 10 to 30% difference in that salary band. So negotiate as much as you can, but look at all the pieces. So how can you change the question when they direct? You say, you know what, when you think about hiring for employees, what are the things goes into a compensation structure? Ask that question, right? They will tell you. Then you say, okay, which are the things that you will never move away from? Like what is that you cannot make an impact or a change? You don't have a choice, that you don't have a power to make a change. They'll tell you and they'll say, what are the areas that you can really be flexible in? You can negotiate. That it's very easy then. So, yep, negotiables and non-negotiables will be the key, Janice, on that. Okay, going to the next one is what are the 4 simple steps to secure your dream job in the cloud and AI ecosystem? Very, very simple. If you do this one to the precision, I promise you within 3 months, you'll have a job. And it means you have to put in the effort. First, going to the next slide, please. First is focus. This is a place where you need to explore what you're passionate about and curate the companies you want to work for. Don't randomly put your resumes into the different place. So look at the company and your passion. If your passion is engineering, identify the companies that are driving some really cool engineering in the ecosystem, and then look at what job and titles you really want to have. So go and do the research. I always recommend start with 10 companies when you're looking for it. Second, skill right. It's very important that you have found the right cloud certification and then technical or non-technical. Let's say if your research, most of the companies are using Microsoft Cloud, then you need to have the Microsoft Cloud certification. If all the companies that you have on the list is doing AWS, then you need to do AWS certification, because you cannot go with Azure certification into a company which is using AWS. You will not get a job. Why? Because you're not the right skill. It will take 1 to 2 years for you to get ready for you to be productive. So you're not going to get the job. So think about matching the cloud infrastructure, the company, and then figuring it out. Do you have the right skilling that is there to contribute? Then you'll say, how do I know if they're using cloud or which cloud? You can do a research. Go look at the press release. Look at their solution of how the solution is built in. usually they'll say the solution is built or powered by AWS, and you will know that, or with Google or Microsoft. So that's very important. Second is invest, grow your community. Yes, it's all with people, not just on the digital one. Join the online communities and then go and develop your personal development as part of it. And this is something the Women in Cloud community does a lot to make sure that we are helping you grow your community network as fast as you can. Once you build your right network, you can actually grow very quickly. And the last one is mastery. Mastery around what you can really come and add value with. So take on internship, apprentice, take on projects. But mastery is like my mastery is product management and go to market. And I invest a lot of time working on that mastery. Every single day, I have like 10, 15 minutes working on that skill. That means I'm either writing a go-to-market plan or I'm writing a solution plan, because those things allows me to think in three dimensions, right? Multiple dimensions to really hone on my mastery. So investing time is very important. So that's the four, I would say, steps that you need to do. And start with the focus, get the focus right, get the right skilling, invest in people, go meet with people. I will challenge each one of you is to meet 10 people in the next 30 days. Go meet with them and ask questions, and they will give you some really interesting perspective, and then invest in mastery of your skills. Okay. So now here is a dream job template, which I want to have you do. So it's very simple template. We will send you the template so you can do it. Write down your current compensation. Write it down on a paper, not the salary, but the compensation that you have. And then write down what's your future compensation looks like. Put it over 100,000 because it'll inspire you. Don't go below 100,000. Then write down what's the job title and skills that you have today, and what's the contribution factor that you're proud of that you can talk about. Very important for you to self-assess. Then write down what your future state looks like. What's your job title and skills you want to have, and what's the contribution factor you want to make in future. So when you're introducing yourself, let's say 5 years from now or a year from now, you should be able to say, I was able to create $1 billion in access, or I was able to support 100 women to do something, or I was able to do 100 tech implementation, have that contribution factor very solid, and then identify what's the gap. And if you don't know the gap, that's where your network comes in. You go and say, hey, this is my future vision. How can I get there? What do you think is a gap? What do I need to put time in and effort in? Okay, very simple template will help you start thinking about what your future state should look like. Going to the next slide, here is an example of a Jane Doe. So she's a teacher, has project management skills. Very good. She's making $45,000. I made just an assumption based on the US numbers. And then is the contribution factor. She helps her school implement Office 365 solution. She has a passion for tech. Very easy. So the job title that she wants to have, she wants to be recognized as a M365 architect, and she's also Microsoft 365 certified. That's the one. That means the job compensation can be easily 120,000 or more for that role. The next one is she wants to lead and implement M365 projects in Fortune brands. These are enterprise brands. And then the gap, you can see for the first one is a certification is important. Maybe you want to shadow a M365 architect to see, is that the right role she wants to do? Is that something she wants to do every day? Maybe not, but something for her to go look. And contribution factor is, I want access to projects and the network, which allows her to go and do the vision she has. Is that good? Very simple template. I'm telling you, I would say it's absolutely game-changing for you. If you can put this one on a piece of paper, I'll promise you within 3 months, you'll say, my God, I am so close to my vision and I can get the job I need. Okay, excellent. Now, coming to certification. I know all of you asked for what kind of certification and what should I do? First of all, there is definitely a benefit. If you actually are certified employee, the company definitely will give your salary definitely goes up. it is like an MBA. And so that means if you're an MBA student, there's always extra margin, there's extra compensation that is there. So use that one. So I would allow you to kind of look at this number is when you are, what do you call this? When you are certified, the opportunities for you is anywhere from 10 to 30,000 extra money you can get if you are certified. There's definitely an edge that you have because you have gone and taken time to get certified. That means your fundamentals are extremely strong, and that allows the employer to say, you know what, I can invest more in their salary or the compensation for them. Okay. So here is an opportunity for you if you're thinking about Azure certification. We did roll out the program last year. There are 1,000+ Azure skilling scholarships are available. We have, already given over, 1,200 stuff for the community. If you want to get trained on Azure fundamentals, AI fundamentals, and data fundamental, this is a scholarship that is available for our community. Please go and apply for it. If we have scholarships, we will definitely distribute it for you. But we want to know if this is something that's important for you, okay? And this is done with Microsoft and Coursera. We are working with Google and Coursera and Microsoft to see if we can bring more scholarships in the 2023, so that we want to make sure that when you are applying for the jobs, you have that edge, $10,000 to $30,000 extra you can get because you have certifications done. Excellent. Rohit, excellent. Congratulations for completing all the certification. Appreciate it. Okay, so now how does Women in Cloud help you with the job search? This probably is on top of the question. Now that, yeah, I know it, but how does this community help? There are a few things that we do, which I want to kind of share. First is we do provide cloud certification scholarships. So go ahead and apply for it. If you have not got, if you don't know, go onto our website, look for it, or reach out to Marissa. She'll put in her email address, reach out to her. There's warm introduction to recruiters. We have a platform which allows you to request introduction, warm introduction, because you said is, how do you do it? We do have a platform to facilitate that. We have 250 leaders in the industry who are ready to help you. So hopefully I can do a quick demo. Share your resume to the hiring managers. So if you share your resume, we will share it with the hiring managers, and we will make sure we get you in front of them. The Cloud Job Skilling Series, if you like this one, absolutely, that series you can attend every month and get there. There's a Cloud Hive, which is a job opportunity portal. All the Fortune brands and all the companies in our ecosystem can share their job, so you can apply for that. We have signature events to educate, which is your professional development, and networking. So you have that. We have a world record attempt on vision boarding, so you can build your vision for future, so you can work with us in 2023. There are internship opportunities. Most of the entrepreneurs are always looking to hire interns. You can apply there, and you have volunteer opportunities, whether it's signature events or any kind of program. We're always looking for opportunities to create that access, so we can see where are the contribution factor we can create for you. If we like it, we will recommend you to the hiring manager. So these are all the opportunities available for the community. First of all, did you know this existed ever? First, I wanted to know, did you know this is all the things we provide for you? No. Well, now you know. You're ahead of everyone, which is awesome. Okay, so going to the next one. This is the warm introduction tool. This is a place where you can get warm introductions with executives, and I will have Marissa put in the link. And I know we only have 2 minutes. Maybe I can do a quick demo and a Q&A if you want to stay a little bit with me, okay? The next session that's coming, which is what your LinkedIn says about your career. This is the next one, which is your professional building and making sure what people see you on the LinkedIn, because that's how I'm going to make your judging. So you will have Tucker Stein come in. He's the master at it. He can help you elevate your social presence to grow your career. Anytime Women in Cloud is sharing a post on LinkedIn, just share it on your LinkedIn. Associate with us. Absolutely, automatically, you'll see a lot of association will change the way how people will perceive you because you're coming from the Women in Cloud community. Okay. The next one we have, and it's on December 6th, so do join. The next one is the annual summit that's coming. It's 3 weeks activation, infinite access, and collective responsibility. No, we know that we are entering a very turbulent market. Lots of people are losing their job. We want to help you make sure that you are ready, whether as a freelancer, as an intern, or getting to the right role. We want to make it easy. So a lot of the skilling is happening during the annual summit. And then we are also doing is the world record attempt. So you can build your vision board. Once you see your vision, you see your identity, it's very easy to achieve it. Today was like an attempt to help you with the programming that we did to make sure you know exactly where in the tech you can fit in and what you can do, okay? So this is my last question for all of you. Based on all the things that you saw, what were your takeaways and one action you will take to prepare for securing your cloud job? What's your takeaway? And what's one action you will take? Awesome, Adele, appreciate it. I enjoyed this webinar. I have another meeting. Thanks for the information. Get certified. Yes, yes. Look for internship. Get certified. Plan your goal. Have a clear plan. Finish your certification. My career in cloud is within my reach and networking. I'm bad at network. Nobody's bad at network. You just need to know the language of how to network. Get certified. Need to complete the certification. Look at that. I love it. Each one of you are focused on the right place. Get one certification right. And this one will help you change the way you look at your, and rewrite a resume highlighting the impact to the organization. Next time when we meet for the next session, we will show you some tools that helps you write really cool narratives about you. So if you're interested, do come in, get certified, looking for internship, and build your network. This is great. If you want to have any question for me to answer, put the questions in there. I will take another 10 minutes and answer for you. I will be here. And if you want to jump on for another call, feel free to do that. And please share your face when you're asking the question. Oh, there you go. Arvinda is here. A great presentation. Accenture is hiring cloud professional, various level and various location. I would recommend they are our strategic partner. Please do apply and work with Marissa. And she is your conduit to the world of women in cloud. So don't underestimate access. She is the gateway for all the access. And I see Arvinda is here. So reach out to her. Put your LinkedIn link, Arvinda, so they can reach out to you. There is, Rohit, there are a lot of fresher positions. There are a lot of positions in Accenture, so please reach out to them. And if you have a moment, we'll keep quiet and you can ask questions. Silence means you got too much information or there's no questions, which is, I'm totally fine. And you can put it in the chat too. I can answer. Sam, reach out to, we usually have all the sessions shared on our website, so you should definitely be able to get everything. Let me do is a quick demo of how to really request a warm introduction. Is that something you want to learn? Say yes, and I'll just do a quick demo. How do you explain career gap during interview? I would say, be honest. You say, you know, I took a career gap because of XYZ reason. And the reason for me to do is to accomplish something. And right now with the COVID, everybody has taken a gap. Even I have taken gap in some areas, right? So, but the point is, if you know your contribution factor, you have no problem. The career gap is not a problem at all. You just have to say, instead of having a full-time job, you were volunteering or you were helping this organization, I was doing something, or I was facing personal challenge and I'm just coming out of it. But here are my skills that I can add right away. So be positive about it. Don't feel shy about that you took a gap. Everyone can take a gap in life. And they should. I took 2 years of my gap before I started my own company. So I can tell you, it was really fabulous. I needed that from a corporate to being an entrepreneur. Okay. Okay, so let's do a quick demo so we can see together how to request a warm introduction. Okay, so give me a second. Okay, so are you able to see my screen? Yes.
Yes, we can see it.
Do you have a Slack channel? We don't have a Slack channel, but we do have a digital network. And I'll ask Marissa to put in the link so you can join in. So here is our Get Introduced. It's really all our Cloud Leader Circle, which is designed to help you connect, network, and provide advice to create economic opportunity. You can talk to any one of them. Okay, so basically, if you refresh it, it'll refresh with new people. Here are the filters. So let's say you want to work with recruiters, apply, and it'll tell you who are all the recruiters here. What do you want is, let's say this is from Insight. Let's say it's Sandhya from Accenture. You want to get a warm introduction. Put in your name, the company you work from. If you are not working at a company, just say TBD. Put in your job title, your email. Briefly discuss what you want to talk about. Just don't say, I want to just talk to you because you were on a call. No, don't do that. You say, I want to talk about certain things. This is, and I'm seeking advice on a specific topic. Maybe seeking advice is how to navigate within Accenture. And I'm looking for these 3 roles, and I wanted to see if I qualify for those 3 roles. Very simple. The recruiter will take the appointment with you. If you do not put the right reason, the right ask for in this particular one, when we receive it, when we see it's just a basic, no interest in connecting, just you're doing like a bot kind of copy paste, we don't really do the introduction. We'll just delete that and we'll say you're not approved for those introductions. Introductions are done when it's meaningful and you respect these connections. And when you do it, it's very powerful. I've seen people close deals. I've seen people get jobs. I've seen people get friends. They have grown their community. So go and look for the people here and look for the filters, and you can say who you want to talk to. If there is a specific industry that gets you excited, let's say you want to look into small business and see who are actually experts in the small business and go and talk to them. Very helpful. You can literally hover around them and it'll tell you is you can ask anything about distilling complexity, navigating business ecosystem, and driving a lasting customer outcome. Your topic will be what? Just making sure that I want to learn about sales and marketing strategy with you. Is there something you can help me with? Or I'm working on this idea and I need your advice. Usually they will take the appointment. Okay. Is that helpful for all of you on that? Is there apprentice opportunities? We do not have personally Women in Cloud, but all our partners do have it. So if that is important, then we will bring that opportunity for all of you. Okay. Okay, so let's see if there's any questions for each one of you. That looks like there is. How do I get referrals if I have a career gap? First is start being active in the community. The very simple thing. You can speak at an event, you can do a course, you can actually go and volunteer for an organization, or you can do a freelancing. There's so many ways you can get a job. You just have to be more like an entrepreneur. You find a gap, you help them. I have seen some people in the Women in Cloud community, they say, hey, your website needs some help. Is there something I can come and help you? I'm like, sure, no problem. We'll give you a project. Let's go do that project. So they are just ways. You have to be creative. You're not just asking for a job. You're trying to figure out how you can contribute, and then the door automatically opens up for you. Okay. I see a few more questions here. Oh, there you go. Sudhakar says Boeing has multiple multi-cloud opportunities. Happy to refer. There you go. There itself, you already see the communities helping each other. Put in your LinkedIn if you want people to connect with you, and let's grow with each other and start to help each other. We need to be in the economically fulfilling roles as we go and take these jobs, and you know how to negotiate, you know what's available, you know how to build your brand, everything becomes very easy. Okay, we are at 11 or 10. Since there is not a whole lot of question, I will more than happy to talk to you, connect with you. So there are a lot of companies, they're still hiring. Don't be disappointed. Cloud is a new market. It's a $7 trillion market. You may hear like roles getting consolidated, but cloud roles are not getting consolidated. It's all the old roles which should not even exist that are getting consolidated. So that means you have a full opportunity. I want you to go into the world with very positive perspective. Don't get jinxed by the press that's happening. Those are the roles that should not even exist. That's going away, which is a good thing. The new roles are getting created, and go get those roles, okay? And with that, have a great Thursday and a great weekend. And we look forward for the next session. Be with us, amplify the work, bring more people to this ecosystem if you want to learn together and grow your network. And we are in, LinkedIn is down. Oh, I didn't know that one. Interesting. Let's wait for the LinkedIn to come up. But again, thank you, everyone. And thank you, Marissa, for putting this beautiful event together and making such a high value for the community. You are fabulous. And Alyssa, thank you, and the entire Women in Cloud for making this possible. Okay, with that, have a great day. Bye-bye.